All right, we are recording. Perfect. So we're going to go over time hacks for showing time. Quick and dirty is what our goal is today. So I'm going to share my screen so you guys can walk through with me. All right, so from Paragon, you can access showing time through your Paragon dashboard or directly through your NSAR dashboard. So Paragon would be if you're clicking in here and then going into or into your showings setup here. So first, I'm going to go over the buyer's side of things. And the best time hacks that I went over was kind of working on like a house hunting tour. That is the one that has saved me the most amount of time, and a lot of people aren't quite aware of that. So we start by going into Paragon. And then you would go and you would search based on whether it's a certain contact that you are working with and you have a collab center set up for them, or if you are going in and just kind of doing a fresh search. So I'm just going to stick to pull up some Timberly listings. So you would go in and you would say, okay, we're going to look at the Maples, and we're going to look at Riverwood. And let's throw in that's new construction. Let's go to Boulier's Point. Okay, so you would go and you would check them off and you would say, okay, I'm going to view these four. So I want to minimize that just to double check my list. So I click checked, and then they're all there. Those are the ones that we want to view today. So I leave them checked off, and then I go to this actions tab here. And this new box will pop up, and you can either flip over into Cloud CMA, or I want to push them to showing time because I want to book viewings on them. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to add them to a showing cart because it's not a single showing. And then, so I'm going to create a house tour for one of my clients. So if it's someone that I've already inputted here, I can go through and put them under here. Or if it's someone new that I'm just working with, I will click add new, and then plug in their information here. I typically just put their first and last name, and then I leave it, and then I hit create. So if we are going out on Friday, on the calendar here, I'm going to select Friday. I've got them chosen here, and then okay. So that is going under my buyer for Justin. The tour date is here in the top left corner. And then my listings that I want to view are down here in the next section. But also it has this lovely map feature that shows where they are in terms of our path. So if I wanted to go to my furthest point first, so that would be number 4 here, I would move that, click on it, and drag it up to the top to make it my number 1 spot. So wherever you want to go first, you would make it the number 1. And then if my other ones were like, you know, number 2 was here and 3 and 4 were down here, that would be fine. So I just want to see if I mix them up a little bit more. So if I had it like this, so I really did pick them for our purpose. So this, you know, doesn't really make sense to go to number 2 and then back to 3 and 4. You're kind of backtracking. So I would move my first spot into number 1, and then I click this button called Smart Route, and it's going to rearrange everything so that it puts them in a better order. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 in a sense that you're not backtracking on yourself. So that's what I would do for the first step. Then the next step would be to pick my times. So if we're going to start at, say, 1 o'clock that day, I'm going to then come to my middle section here with all of my listings listed here. And this calendar helps me choose what time I want to book my viewing request. So if I want to start in Bootleggers Point at 1 p.m., I would click on that block, and then this pops up and says your start time and your finish time. So it is a 1 hour booking. Yes, okay, that's great. I'm going to hit save. So then it puts in a blue block that I've requested 1 to 2. I've not requested it from the agent yet. This is just my template setting everything up. So my times are messed up here. So this 27 minutes, so see these 3 minutes, 1 minute, 27 minutes. This 27 minutes should actually be here on this spot because it's telling me to get from Bootleggers Point to Timberley, it's going to take 27 minutes. So when I'm setting it up, I can say, okay, if we're there for at least half an hour, then from 1:30, I have to have 27 minutes of travel time. So I'm going to book my next viewing at 2 or maybe 2:15, kind of depending on if my clients are chatty and we're going to spend a lot of time analyzing the house, or if they're kind of straight to the point, we're in and we're out, we can get that done in half an hour type of thing. So it'll really kind of vary depending on how you show a house. So you can then go in and choose your next spot. You get your lovely COVID agreement. So this one is only half-hour viewings. Fine, no problem. So 2 to 2:30, save. Then my next block will pop up. Because my next visit is 3 or 1 minute away, I don't have to have such a big travel time in between. So I can kind of overlap those ones. So I would go in and I would hit the same thing, save, and just plug in my times, get them all set up. And then once I'm satisfied with this timeline, I can say, okay, yes, that's fine. We're good to go. If I was happy with this schedule, I would then hit the send requests button, and that would automatically push out a request through Showing Time to request those viewings. And then as they come in and confirm, I'll get the email for that. These blocks here that are blacked out is either blacked out because that is a showing restriction, so no showings after 7 p.m., or those are actually other viewings that are booked. So you can really kind of start to see how busy a listing is very quickly when you have it uploaded in here. The other thing too is if you're going out like on a full day and you're like, we're gonna have lunch in between, you can add a listing stop. Or if you are looking at a for sale by owner that's not in the MLS, you could put that in there as well. So you do have that ability to add different stops, add other stops, or add listing stop. And you can put in the locations and all of that. Sometimes there are some agents that don't use Showing Time, and it will say call agent to book viewing or whatever. You can still put the time block in there. It just won't send the request out, and then that's when you text or call that agent, and then you can confirm that and add that into your list as well. So that's kind of how I quickly set up like house hunting tours. And then if you had another one that you wanted to add that you were like, oh, I missed this one, you can actually enter your MLS numbers in here as well to add any extras to push in there. Any questions about that process for buyers?
Excuse me?
Yep.
On the day you're going out, can you actually use the map that's provided here by showing time? Or do you do that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
So you can send tour details. You can send them to yourself or to your client, which is really nice. I like this, especially with clients, to send to clients because it shows them what our time slot is. So, okay, we have a half an hour to get in and out, and they start to really respect the timeline. But you can send this. So if I send this to myself, email was successfully sent. It'll give you a turn by turn and a map. Let me just double check that it came in. Yeah, okay. New share. So it comes in like this, showing to our Friday, March 19th. And then you have this link to click on. And this is how it kind of pops up. So it has all the listings for you, and then it has the map option as well.
okay,
That you can
awesome.
see everything. Yeah, like this is just a nice added feature, and then you can click to get directions if needed as well through that link.
It's better than my current sticky notes on the listing.
Yes, exactly, right? And that's the nice thing is that this really, like, so you email this to yourself and then you can plug it into your GPS in your car, or you have this map as well to watch off of.
Okay.
So definitely better than the sticky notes.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, and I've had really good feedback over this recently by sending out this little tour. Just keeps my folks interested in it. And you can also, I typically tend to print it so that I can keep track of my times and what addresses, and then I just plug it into my GPS.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So there's a couple of options.
Renee, do you wait until you've got confirmation before you send it out to your client?
Typically, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Yeah, it's kind of silly when I haven't sent it and I just send them the link. They're like, so yes, no, but it will update in real time. So
Okay.
even if you did send it to them, as we get the confirmation, it'll adjust.
It'll update?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Trying to think what else I do for my buyers in the showing time. I think that is about it. And then just like you can do like the single showing as well, but that's typically just that one box. It's not much of a setup at all. But yeah, I love this part because it tells me, like, I don't have to flip back and forth to maps to figure out the distance in between the listings. I can really kind of estimate it and make sure that I give myself enough time to get to each spot. So travel time plus viewing time. And it just gives me a whole view of what's going on with that. Yeah. So that's the buyer side of things. It's probably my favorite tool for sure. Now I'm going to flip to the seller side. So the seller side, there's tons and tons of options. I'm actually going to flip into Chad's because he has a listing here. So when you are looking at setting up like a new listing, there's a few things that make your presentation that much better. So especially now when we are getting a lot of traffic on our listings, you know, uploading the PDFs for people or certain documents that you want automatically emailed to them. So we can upload them in Paragon. But what I've been doing is uploading our feature package or necessary documents into showing time so that when people request, it is automatically emailed to them without them having to go into the documents. So they kind of send the request and then they automatically have the necessary paperwork. So I go into the listing, and then down here on the left side, if you go into showing time setup, And so then it comes up, there's usually no picture here. So I always upload our primary picture there, because then it, as people request it, that's what shows up on their screens when they're requesting. Down here under attachments. So that is where I will add or remove our various attachments. So I have our feature package in there right now that was emailed as people were requesting. So that went out to them, but I could also upload a PDS or utility bills or anything like that, or any schedules that are necessary as well. What was the other thing I was going to show you? So kind of going through here, just to make sure that, so, you know, there's been a lot of conversation around how long of a viewing window are we giving to people. So if it's a certain hot market and you want to limit people to a half an hour so that you can expose it to more people and get more people in the door, this is where you would change that. So when you come into the listing setup, down here in the middle, your appointment restrictions, so maximum appointment length, you can change that in here. And then if you're allowing viewings to overlap, you can change that in here. If you need a certain lead time, so if you have tenants and you need 24 hours, you can change that in here, and then that way nobody can actually bully to get in the door type of thing. They really do have to send a request via showing time, and it has to be 24 hours from when they're requesting. So you can really set your restrictions here and have it all up and ready to go. Details on where your lockbox is, or if there is an access code, that is where you would input that in here as well. Or any additional instructions, you know, don't touch light switches, don't open closets that are not open, that different kind of stuff. You can upload that all in here. Listing. So you can also, your listing activity report, that's where you find all of your feedback, and you can decide if you are going to send that to your homeowner automatically, or if you are going to change things, or if you need to send a notification to all of the agents that have shown the property. So if you are in multiple offers and you want to get the word out, you would do that under here. So I'm going to repeat that because that is probably one of the biggest things that I get asked. So you're going to go to listing activity report and then send notification button. And then you have send this message to agents that have shown this property in the last 180 days. And then you can input your note out to people and send that out to everyone. So it helps when you're notifying of multiple offers. And then you can print your activity report or download a PDF, whichever, if you are using it for your own tracking purposes or to present to the homeowner. Any questions about the seller side of showing time?
Yeah, I have a question, Renee. I had a listing not too long ago and I wanted to block no viewing, like set it up so no viewings after 6 p.m. because it was dark.
Right.
And I was concerned about people going into the backyard. It was too dark and dangerous to go down.
Sure.
I could not figure out how to block it for every evening after 6 p.m.
Yep. So you would go to, as I showed you, go into your listing in Paragon, and then you come to this section, and then you would go showing restrictions.
Yeah.
So these two tabs.
Went there. Yeah.
And then add new showing restriction.
Okay.
And then restriction reason, too dark. I'm sure I could be more thoughtful in my word, but timed restriction. So if I said 6 p.m., nothing after 6 p.m., and end time would be
say 9 a.m. in the morning or something.
Yeah, so so you would actually have to set up two. So you would go 6 p.m. to 11:45.
Ah.
right?
That-
And then we would set up another one that would be like the morning, but I mean, no one's going to be accessing it before 8 a.m. anyways.
Right.
But yeah, so you would just block that out and then repeating start date and then check off your dates. So I
Dates,
mean, if it
gotcha.
was every day.
So
Yeah.
that was the issue because I wanted to go from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. and it wouldn't allow me to do that.
Yeah, so you just would have to set up 2 is all.
Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. So yeah, that's how you would do that. Any other questions? Nothing? All right. All right, well, time hacks, we are quick and dirty. Like I am just here to show you a few quick tips to help make your processes a little bit easier without, making you stick around for an entire hour. So if there's no other questions, thank you all.
I have a question, Renee. So if you have a co-listing agent, do you have to add them in every time, or is that automatic setup because you're set up through Paragon? Is that?
It should automatically set it up. I have not done it, so I can't necessarily say if it yes or no. Double check with double check with the girls up front to see what they say.
Okay, thanks.
No worries. You're welcome, Dawn and Janice.
Awesome. Thanks, Renee. Really
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
Have a
Thanks,
great
Renee.
day. Thanks.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You
You
too.
too.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.